the very first meeting was incredibly humbling. I walked out of that and went, yeah, holy shit, I have no idea what I'm doing. Shit, there's like 5,000 things that I'm not doing at all. I got to the point where the reason I signed up in TPB was like I'm working harder than ever. And I've never not making less money than I ever did working by myself.
Thank you for waiting.
Unbelievable. I'm going to pay for that.
Yeah, please add it to the tab.
Oh,
Sorry about that though. It's been a
That's all right.
big week for us. We're I'm trying to hire a couple of new positions and been on back-to-back interviews and things like that. So a bit of a
Yeah.
bit of a busy one, but thanks for waiting around, dude.
No, that's all right. You're lucky. I'm pouring concrete. I'm at my house and I'm pouring concrete outside. I was lucky I got someone here helping me. Otherwise, we're in some strife. Truck was like an hour and a half late,
Oh
so I
God.
should have already been done ages ago. Anyway, we're here
That's
now.
always the case, eh? How good is it going to be having your place finished though?
Yeah, pretty good.
Yeah,
Pretty
yeah.
good. Yeah.
How long is it? Is it like classic build?
No,
Where it's like,
no, we did stage one ages ago, like
yeah,
probably 3 years ago. Finished it all off, and then stage two has only really started because we were really quiet, which got me into seeing you guys and trying to get on the through TPV, trying to elevate a bit.
yeah.
We were really quiet, and that's why we sort of done stage two is because I've had to keep the boys busy, So it's cost me twice really because I'm paying them to do all the work as well. So.
Yeah, classic, so good.
Yeah,
Nice.
anyway.
Yeah. Well,
Mhm.
when's the due date? Like, when are you going to have it proper done by?
Uh, there might be a stage three yet. There's still
Okay.
two bathrooms and a laundry to do inside, but the outside I reckon I'll have done in the next sort of, I don't know, month or two maybe, which would be
Okay.
good.
Nice. Awesome. Okay, that's good
Hmm.
news. That's good news. Awesome, man.
Hmm.
So well, thanks for giving me the time. I massively
That's all
appreciate
right.
it. We're trying to do a couple more like interviews with members,
Hmm.
mindset changes, ambitions of where their business is going over the next 12,
Hmm.
18, 24 months.
Yep.
Um, yeah, just like unpacking all of that. And then we've got a wins channel internally where the
Hmm.
coaches like share like successes of members and what's going on,
Yep.
and it helps from our point of view to like keep the team really motivated because
Hmm.
like you know what it's like, similar with your guys on site, like sometimes they can go through all the shit and like does the client even care like what's going
Yeah.
on,
Yeah.
and then they bring some beers or there's an actual roof
Yeah.
shower or like something goes on, oh, this is kind of cool, like the client does give
Yeah.
a um,
Yeah.
and so for us, it's like when they're able to post and like member wins, like everyone's just like, oh fuck yeah, like holy shit,
Hmm.
this is cool. Um, so I saw your one get posted, and everyone
Yeah.
was like, fucking A, like he's
Yeah.
on fire, baby, like let's go. And
It
you
was
actually you popped in
yeah.
there a few times.
Yeah. I saw that pop up a couple of times. I'm like, all right, get off me, bloody piece of idiot. It's all right. I'm doing okay, but that's only okay. So,
I,
yeah,
everything starts with okay though, right? Like it's
yeah,
about levels and like they say in business that like cash flow is king, profit is prince, but momentum is emperor. And
mm,
it's about stacking little wins on top of each other, where
mm,
if you can do that, then you can snowball that into the next one and the next one and the
yeah,
next one. I know from my point of view, running our business, where it's like you can go through a week or two and you're like, we are not making any progress. This is tough. We're pretty stupid. I don't know why
mm,
we're so stupid. And then all of a
mm.
sudden, you get a couple of wins and you're in momentum, and you're just like,
And you feed off it.
yeah,
Yeah,
like what's next, baby? Like,
yeah,
sign me up.
yeah,
Let's
yeah,
go.
yeah, yeah,
So hopefully you felt the same way, even though they were like, smaller wins or
yeah,
progressive.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
like, I think it's so important. And on
It's
that
all
as
it's all
well,
about taking it with a little bit of humility though too. Like, there's a reason that I've got to the position I am. So I need to take it with a spoonful of medicine as well. So
yeah, amen. I totally agree. But also like I think as entrepreneurs, it's easy for like I don't know how you feel sometimes, but I mean like well right now you're like goddamn, they're late. I've got to check it
Yeah,
out.
yeah,
How the guy's
yeah.
doing, and in the day-to-day of the business, you can be like, oh my gosh, it's all
hmm Why
cluster.
do I do this crap?
Yeah, exactly. And we rarely take the time to sort of stand back and review some of the successes and things like
Mm,
that. So, would love to just kind of unpack some of that with you and
mhm.
just, if there's anything that you don't want to discuss, then just say,
No, no,
don't want to
open
chat.
book. That's all good.
Okay, cool, nice. And we'll hand it off to the team. They can do some editing. And I appreciate you filling out that form as well.
Mm,
Uh, Gives me a little bit more context beyond just the stuff that I've seen online.
mhm.
So we'll get straight into it. Like I'm
Sure.
curious to hear like why you started your business in the first place. Like what was it that kind of made you want to take that step into business ownership? Because it ain't for everyone, and it's damn fucking hard.
Yeah, look, no, it was really I worked for a really, really good reputable builder, learned heaps on the tools and everything. It was great. But he's an older guy and he's a bit of a Scrooge, I wasn't getting paid much.
Hmm.
So I started my own business to be able to do work on weekends and work in the Christmas holidays. That was literally it, just to supplement my income. I was only a young guy, I was living out of home, so um trying to save for a house living out of home was pretty tricky.
Yeah.
So that was, it was a financial motivator to start with. Once I, got to a point in time there, and I mentioned in the questionnaire there that I always had my eye on TAFE teaching. So I got into TAFE teaching, and did that pretty well full on for 2 3 years, which was a substantial pay increase. It was 220% pay increase on what I was making as a carpenter, which was great. Um, but the job satisfaction wasn't as much there. Like you get satisfaction obviously out of teaching apprentices, and they pick stuff up, and that's same as every other teacher would tell you. There's rewarding aspects there.
Yeah.
Um, but I also realized there's probably a bit of a ceiling on the limit of my earnings as well. Like trying to you know work. I was still working in the TAFE holidays then as well, so doing kitchens and bathrooms and small jobs, decks and stuff like that. And
Mhm.
I felt like there was better money to be made, doing that. And I thought, well, TAFE I can always fall back on, later in life, which I still teach currently,
Yeah.
but it's only one day a week now.
Sure.
And it's more, I went, all right, I'm still young enough. I was still like 28 at the time. Like, let's give it a crack at having to go full time, running the business,
Mm.
which was daunting as all buggery. Like to go from having full time work to needing to be 3 months booked out ahead because I was freaking out that I'd run out of work. Like it was pretty scary because I just got the house all squared away. We were locked into the mortgage and everything. So that was daunting. But I mean, you look back on it now and go, oh, how easy was it? Like Um,
Yeah. So,
once that happened though, I was more about autonomy. Like it was to be able to pick and choose the jobs I was going to do more. Like it was a boom time as well, so there was just work everywhere. You could nearly charge what you like and pick and choose the jobs you want.
mm,
Um, but that was more of a motivator there too, like to be able to go, you know what, no, I can push that, another half day. I'm going to have an afternoon off or something like that. Have some autonomy, and self-reliance that way was sort of the motivator to start the business and be running that full time.
yeah. Yeah. So good.
Mm.
So, like, my understanding on some of your notes that you shared was your expected timeline was actually compressed quite a bit. Like, you thought you would be doing like some of the
Yeah,
stuff.
I thought, sort of from 20, must have been 2022.
Hmm.
Yeah, and 22 when I was like, yep, I'm going to start doing this, full time. It's like, yeah, I'd really like to by 2027 be building a house. Like, and if that could be sooner, that'd be great, because I came from a builder that we did full houses and that was all we did. We didn't do any reno work, and I still hate reno work because I never trained to do it, and I don't know, I don't like it. So, um, the goal was to always to get into the new architectural homes, but I knew that starting out. You can't start out and just build, $1 million houses. You got to start somewhere, right?
Mm.
So, I thought pretty realistic goals to be able to get to, within 5 years building a house. I
Mhm.
had no idea if it was achievable because I had no sort of map to be able to get me there. No, I hadn't thought about, upscale on the business at that stage. Like I hadn't thought about any of that sort of stuff about, putting people on. Like I was- even up until the point when I did put my first apprentice on, it was like I had to ask lots of people, like, how do you know that it's the right time? Because my biggest fear is not being able to pay someone and then having to sack them because I run out of work, right? So,
Yeah.
um, so yeah, it just,
It it's
yeah,
stressful going through some of that, particularly when it's your first time, like
mm,
and knowing whether it should be a qualified guy or an apprentice or an office person.
mm,
A lot of people default to the apprentice because they think it's
mm,
this thing. But from
mm,
what I've seen, it can be the right option for people. But there's a lot of oversight that's required of somebody that doesn't come loaded with batteries or preloaded solutions.
correct. Yeah. And at the time, that was probably the right solution for me. Like I was only doing small jobs, decks, bathrooms. It was more someone to hold the other end of the tape more than anything, and that's what I needed,
Yeah,
someone to
sure.
help me carry in the sheets of billboard into the bathroom because I was breaking myself doing it by myself. Um, so that was the right option. Unfortunately, I got a bad one. I hired for a group trainer just out of the sheer fact that I knew, teaching at TAFE, so I knew who the group trainer was, and I knew that I could return the apprentice if I ran out of work. I was just thinking pragmatically, let's
Yeah.
worst case scenario. Um, and so I hired through a group trainer. Didn't really get much of a choice. It was like, here's this guy. Stuck with him for 8 years and 8 years, 8 months. Really lovely kid, great. Everything you want in an employee. Never on his phone, super conscientious, on time. Just dumb, really dumb. He just,
Yeah.
he struggled. So,
Yeah.
um, but then the next hire I did was a third year, who's just about to be a tradesman and then a
That's cool.
tradesman. So you're right, different time as well, like in my career where I needed to be able to, yeah, like you said, not have to provide so much oversight. So,
Yeah. Because like so like for some people, the best recommendation is to go same entry level, but entry
mm,
level into admin rather than entry level
mm,
to on site
yeah,
because the talent pool is so much larger of
hmm
people that can do accounts receivable, accounts payable, sort your
hmm
emails out, deal with your social media, do some
hmm
sales administration, you know, reply to clients or leads really quickly, you know,
yeah,
and that still buys you as the business owner back a huge chunk of time, sort of thing.
mm,
So, like that first hire is a really difficult one. It's very situational, very contextual,
mm,
but sometimes it is a entry level office administrator,
mm,
entry level site, because the oversight required of that person and their stakes is often high versus, the
yeah.
person that might be a
And
VA.
that's a really interesting point. You know, like I said, I still teach at TAFE. I've got third years at the moment, so they're not long going to be tradesmen, and they're most likely going to go start subcontracting and run their own businesses soon. And and I've never really thought about it that way, like to get an entry level admin staff. Like like even now, I haven't got an admin staff member, and it's like, oh, I don't think I'm ready for that yet.
Mm.
But probably it's a totally different way to look at it. Like when you say it that way, like to be able to do those things to
Because
buy back the time. Yeah.
all we're trying to optimize for is like a delegation of repeating and recurring tasks,
Mm,
right? To buy you as
yeah.
the owner back some time. And those repeating and recurring tasks could be site setup, site pack down,
Mm,
measure this out,
yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
keep this, induct health and safety. And it's like, cool, apprentice. But just like you're a business owner, a lot of the other
Mm,
repeating and recurring tasks is reconcile accounts, send the
mm,
invoice, make sure the phone gets picked up and replied to.
mm,
Emails are filtered and
yeah.
prioritized for you. You go out on social media, you go, and some of these are like the growth engine piece, which
Mm,
is the other piece that keeps us all awake at night, which is like, where's the work? Like, what
yeah.
happens in 4 months' time when when that project ends,
hmm
So So walk me through, like you've got 3 full-time employees now, and you've just
Yep.
started your first full start to finish house, kind of like a
hmm
$1.2 million contract, right?
Yep.
Fucking legend. Nice.
Yeah, yeah,
Congratulations.
yeah.
High five.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's been a long time coming. We've been trying to get this one going since April. So I haven't had any really, I've had one reasonable sized job between April and now to
Mm.
we've been ready to start this thing. So we've been flying by the seat of our pants. But the three guys, one of them was an apprentice with me under my old boss. So he knows what I'm doing. He runs all my crew now. Um, the other tradesman, he was the third year that I hired. I actually taught him at TAFE, so might have poached him from another builder, but we won't talk about that. And my second year apprentice, he's a gun. Like he's awesome. So um, just finding that still, as much as Cody, my leading hand is plenty capable of the task. He still needs a fair bit of oversight. Like he's only been a tradie for 4 years now. Like he still needs a bit of hasn't got great managerial qualities yet. So having to do a fair bit of oversight. But hopefully with this major project, I'll and get my site diary, like my daily diary squared away a little bit, I'll be able to help him be a better leader that way.
Yeah. Yeah. And that I love what you're saying there about training them to be better leaders. So
Mm,
we have a mantra internally and we work with members on it as well. And it's good businesses have good
mm,
leaders. Good
mm,
leaders are good problem solvers, and problem
mm,
solving is a skill we can all learn. We just
mm,
need to be given the opportunity to learn it, right? And
mm.
normally the best way to train and teach problem solving is you've heard it before, PSR and 131,
Yeah.
right? So like
Mm,
don't come to us with multiple problems. Don't come to
yep.
me and put the monkey from your back onto mine, right? Come to me with one problem at a time. I want to hear your 3 potential solutions and your one recommendation. And then you get to train them on problem solving by either going, mate, what do you
It's
think?
really funny.
You
That's
know,
really funny because my old boss, he's hard man and whatever, and we would always be scared to call him with a problem unless we had a solution, just for that same thing, right? And And to tell you the truth, the tradesman I've got, Isaac, who's the middle guy, he's probably a little bit better than that than my leading hand. So it's a difficult sort of dynamic to try and manage because yeah, I've got to have some hard conversations, I think, coming up, and that's difficult to do, because I've been working with these guys for a little while. We're all really friendly, and it's really hard to separate sometimes the mate and the boss sort of mentality as well.
yeah.
So, some difficult conversations lie ahead, uh, but we'll
Yeah.
see. Hopefully, we can
Yeah,
straighten
fair
that
play.
out.
Like, difficult conversations are just a muscle that you learn and
Mm,
you train, just like any other aspect in business. And
yep,
you know, I think a good way to think about it is via the equation for accountability, which
mm,
is expectations, measurement, and feedback, right? So
yeah,
feedback is ultimately like the tough combo, and it
mm,
needs to just be around expectations and measurement. So
yeah,
expectations are, do you know what you're doing every week? Or do you
yeah,
know like what you're meant to do? And that's normally either clear or it's not clear. And maybe the start of a crucial conversation is just redefining the expectation
yeah.
or
And that's
going,
something that's definitely an opportunity I've got moving forward. Is
yeah.
probably haven't done that like
But
at all,
that's
or
fine because as a
yeah,
business grows, expectations shift and change, right? So the
mm,
expectations that were in the business like just a couple of months ago when we didn't have this big $1 million project on were different to the
mm,
expectations that we now have. And it's like, every 3 or 4 months in a growing business like yours, the expectations are shifting, the goalposts
yeah,
are changing. And
yeah,
that's why it's so important to like have frequent and regular convos because you want to reset the expectations, then measure stuff. And sometimes you have a crucial conversation with people like maybe your subs and things because yeah, maybe the expectations are being met, maybe the scorecard or the measurement is being achieved, but they're missing the values piece. They're just not showing up
mm,
with bedside manner, or they're being a dick, or whatever
mm,
it is. And you can really only hold accountability against measure like expectations, measurement, and
yeah,
values. And like leaning into that conversation is breaking a convo into those buckets make sometimes
mm,
a lot easier.
yeah.
Um, as
Yeah.
well as scheduling it. It's
Yeah.
hard having the conversation when you're on site, but
Mm.
if you go to like a third venue or a third
Mm.
cafe, no one's gonna make a scene in a cafe, right?
No.
Well,
Oh, no.
yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm really keen to. So success is often not a great teacher.
Mhm.
I say this a few times, but it's like some of our most successful members are our biggest losers. And what I mean
Mm.
by that is like they're the ones with the most scar tissue because
Mm.
stakes and challenges are really good teachers because we're like,
Shit, yeah. Yeah.
I'm avoiding that. Have you
Hmm.
got some interesting lessons or some interesting scar tissue that you think is worth discussing and sharing so that others can avoid it themselves?
I mean, again, being the teacher at TAFE, I'm often, telling guys what I've done wrong in the past, and you know, from the littlest things, when I started doing cashies as a second and third year, I wasn't charging margin on materials. I was just doing it for costs. And I'm like, what are you doing, you idiot? You know, trying to look
Yeah.
after people, like, in it to make money.
Yeah.
Um, I suppose really like not having any sort of sales or marketing strategy or framework that was really the reason that I got in such a sticky situation anyway.
Mm.
Um, because late last year I was doing a reasonably big job, like it was $500,000, knockdown to floor level rebuild for a really good friend of mine. Um, Sidebar that, don't work for friends. That's the other one as well. Um, but I was doing that job, and I just assumed that, by putting up a story on social media and heaps of posts and everything, that the work would just generate itself. I was like, oh, it's going to be fine. That's what everyone else is doing. Not probably, a sense of almost either I was either oblivious or I was probably arrogant in what I thought I had it all squared away, and obviously as soon as I had the first conversations with the guys from TPB, I went, holy shit, I know nothing, right? But I think not having some sort of marketing or sales strategy at all definitely hurt. And then as well, a little bit of my own naivety. Like I put a lot of trust into my previous accountant, was a friend of mine from the army as well, and everything was going really really well. But I didn't quite understand the tax implications of some things, and I got stuck with basically $40,000 worth of tax bills the week of Christmas last year. Um, and so, yeah, heaps good. Like, yeah, it's
Yeah.
awesome. I'm still paying it off,
Yeah.
like it's just, um, and then, that was probably one lesson I learned there was just, was more just about the tax itself and how I had to pay it and all this sort of stuff. Like, and that was again, probably my own arrogance. I was like, yeah, I know what I'm doing here. That's fine. I had no idea, right? So,
Yeah.
um, yeah, that's probably one big one. Like that hurt a lot because I changed over my business structure from a sole trader to a company as well, which again probably 5 years ago it was the right thing to be a sole trader, but if I had have set everything up as a company to start with, it would have cost me a little bit less to transition, but also um, could have saved me money on the tax as well, which would have been great.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, so
Yeah.
yeah,
Fair play. I mean, it's funny, right? Because we often assume that these people in some of these positions have our best interests at heart, and they obviously, generally do.
yeah,
They
yeah.
are often operating with not the same ambitions as the business owner, right?
Mm,
So like an accountant is a great example. They're like operating through the lens of like what is most effective, like efficient, what is like the least amount of work, what is, works today.
yeah.
Um, when like as business owners we're thinking like where do we want the business to be, what are our goals
Mm,
and ambitions, like I will happily take a you know pay more tax here if that's easier over there, or
mm,
I,
yeah.
I've got other goals and aspirations that accountants don't often take into consideration. Like, I want to keep
No.
a crew together. I want to like grow a design division, or I want to grow new builds, or I want to do some
Mm,
maintenance work, or I want to like expand it and
mm.
grow the company, or whatever it might look like. It's different for everybody. But the accountant won't be looking at that. They're just looking at right here, right now.
Unless you've got, reasonable dialogue, really good communication. It's regular as well. That's probably another letdown. I didn't really I had 2 or 3 meetings a year with her, and that was it.
Mm,
Whereas the accountant I've got now, we have a monthly sit down, and it's great. Like his goals are aligned with my goals. It's really great. Like the other part of it as well, like I think she made some assumptions that I knew a few things that I actually didn't know, and again, like I love learning, like that's great, but people assuming that you know stuff is sometimes can be counterproductive as well,
yeah,
Um, mm,
so good.
so
Nice. So tell me, like, uh, what do you think have been the biggest mindset shifts for you over your time on the program?
I think obviously, we touched on it that the very first meeting was incredibly humbling. Like I walked out of that, and went, yeah, holy shit, I have no idea what I'm doing, Like it was already, spiraling a little bit out of control. And I went, holy shit, there's like 5,000 things that I'm not doing at all, let alone right. My, naivety about margin versus markup, even as simple as that, like, and that's a super common one. I know it's been talked about a fair bit, but, yeah, that was super, super humbling. And it was, you know, um, it was almost depressing. I was like, holy shit, am I ever going to be able to dig myself out of this hole?
Sure.
Um, I suppose the mindset shifts though through the training and whatnot that I've been able to um, probably quote and estimate with more confidence, and obviously estimating with a purpose and quote as an action plan sort of thing has definitely changed my demeanor when approaching clients. Like before TPB, I was like, "Oh, I'm really sorry that the price is this much," and it's like now I'm like, "This is the price, this is what it is,"
Yeah.
and just almost like um, what do they call it? Reverse
Oh, like,
reverse qualify them. That's been one thing that has helped me change his mindset as well, and that's come through the TPB, but also I'm not sure if you've seen him in notes, but I've been dealing with a marketing agency as well, pretty heavily, and even they, I got on board with them before TPB, and even that sort of helped me in that as well.
mm,
Um, but I suppose, yeah, I think it's mainly just about I've got a lot more confidence now that I know what I'm doing is right. I mean, I had that confidence already, but that it was shot to shit real quick, and and I got to the point where the reason I signed up to TPB was like I'm working harder than ever, and I'm making less money than I ever did working by myself. Why is that the case? So, but yeah, I suppose just knowing that you don't know everything, and I mean it's hard to say, like it's hard to really pinpoint
yeah, but
the
that's fine.
mindset shifts.
I get it. Do you think that you see it showing up in other parts of your life as well? Like, because we've got a strong belief that you don't often have business problems. You've got life problems that you bring into business. Like, it's really
Mm,
hard to show up outside of work as like the best husband,
yeah,
father, mate, person in the community. If you've got the sky is falling in your business and vice versa, sort of thing.
yeah.
You see the confidence that you've built through understanding how to improve the business, transferring elsewhere.
Yes, and not yes and no, but yes, and then and we haven't really touched on it, but I'm also the president of a local footy club as well, which takes up probably 25 hours of my week, and that's been very difficult this winter as well. Like there's been a lot of lot of stuff going on there as well, and it all just aligned with, it was all just really bad. Life was not going great. I was ready to give footy away, give the work away, everything, go back to, working for my old boss. And it was, so, but it's sort of, when one wheel turns the right way, it's something about it, like we spoke about it before with the little wins, like it's easy to feed off that and sort of build on it in all areas of your life, not just with work. So I could see where they're both what's the word? They're both reliant on each other. The outside of work and then your work as well. Like the mindset for both absolutely affects the other.
How like when the pressure's on like that,
Yeah.
and you've got competing priorities and everything,
Mm.
and it feels like a pressure cooker. How did you deal with that? Like, what did you find to be helpful?
Oh, lots of people will tell you that I'm very cranky. Um, Look, honestly, to a point, I actually really thrive on the stress. Like it helps me focus a little bit. But that's to a point, and it definitely got beyond that point. I, I mean, I started delegating a lot more shit out that I couldn't handle stuff anymore. Like particularly with footy, I was delegating a lot more tasks out. Just you know that I didn't really want to do. They were tasks that I really needed to do. Um, but like before that, I was just drowning, right? I was just drowning in heaps of stuff to do, and I just said I've got to make a change here. So I delegated some tasks out. I even started, you know, delegating some tasks at work as well. From um, things like changing the accountant over, who takes care of a lot of the, reconciling the accounts and chasing up end of month payments and stuff like that. Like he does all that now, so I don't have to, just started delegating some responsibility. But I suppose dealing with it at the time, I just suck and see. It's just like um, just
Yeah,
nose to the stone and just keep digging away. I don't know, like it was just you got to. I knew that there would be light at the end of the tunnel. It's
yeah,
just had to work through it.
yeah,
It was super stressful, super super stressful for
yeah,
sure.
yeah. Well done. It shows
Oh,
real resiliency to kind of, and it won't be the only time you're
no,
going to experience that. Like, business is cyclical, and
mm,
if there's anything that we know to be true, it's like the good times won't last, but neither will the
yeah,
bad times. Like we'll
yeah,
go through both, and it's about enjoying the process and understanding that these often aren't like business challenges and
mm,
reframing that these are not business challenges, these are business conditions. This is literally
mm,
the condition of business.
mm,
And ultimately, like we've got a few options available to us. We can throw it in, we can pack it in,
yeah,
we can go do something else, or we can build more resilient selves, more resilient team, and more resilient processes to deal with the stuff so that it's not as challenging next time. We
mm,
can ultimately become better because these are business conditions and they will
yeah,
happen again, not business challenges. You
yeah,
know,
yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
yeah,
I'm not a quitter, so there's no throwing the towel in. That's why we're still here. So
yeah, good on you, dude. So
yeah.
I'm curious to understand the ambitions and the goals for the future. Like, let's start by defining success. Like, what does success look like for you? What are you trying to, work towards or achieve and get
I
in the
mean,
next 12, 24?
philosophically, like success for me is freedom. I mean, I know we're all live in the Western world and we're technically free, but really we're not, because we've got financial obligations, and I suppose financial freedom is a part of that. But freedom to make choices as well is something that I think I'll feel successful when I have the freedom to be able to choose more of what I do in my day to day, in my throughout the year. Um, so that comes with obviously um, the ability to step away from the business and know that it's still going to run. It won't crash and burn without me there, and that there are systems and people in place to pick up the mantle. Um, but yeah, I mean, I touched on it in the questionnaire, and I can see all golf clubs in the back when I can get my handicap back. If I've got time to be able to play 2 times a week and get the handicap back down to single figures, that'll be great.
Yeah, that would be good.
But
Are you going to the summit in the Gold Coast?
I had a call from Thea earlier today, and it's on the horizon of maybe I'll be putting a roof on at this big job that we've just started. So the $1.2 million one. So I'll see what the timeline looks like, maybe.
Sure.
But
Well,
I'd like to, but yeah,
we'll get out for some golf if you can extend it to Saturday. We'll
I
play
could be talked into that.
Yeah,
There's
yeah,
no flights back. There's no flights back until Saturday
yeah,
afternoon.
exactly. Yeah.
Yeah,
I'll spot you for 18 holes, not a problem.
yeah, nice.
Yeah, yeah. So
Yeah, no. So to be able to, have that sort of freedom, um, and it's not like, and most of that is reliant on having financial freedom. Obviously, if we have financial freedom, we have that ability to make those choices. And
Mhm.
it's not just about me, it's being able to send I've got a 2-year-old daughter, be able to send her to the best private schools around that I can. So she's got the best opportunity to succeed in her life as well, be able to take them on a holiday like we've never been on a holiday, So um
Mm.
that those sorts of things. But yeah, that freedom is really the essence of it, I suppose.
Yeah, yeah, so good. And in terms of like, you know, that all that lifestyle stuff, I massively agree. Like once we can unlock some of that financial goal, you know,
Mm,
it's a big domino that knocks a lot of other things over because
mm,
like, well, money's not the answer to all problems. It's like often the remedy to at least get the
mm.
ball rolling on a lot of the solutions. Uh,
Yeah.
and high margin, but this is why we always say like high margin businesses win because like better the margin, the more cash flow we've got to be able to invest into solving problems via people,
Mm.
via process, just via throwing money at some stuff. Like
Yeah, yeah.
problems can be solved with some money or at least kickstarted. And
Mm,
it's hard to do that when we've got low margin. It's much
mm,
easier to do when we've got a bit of a higher margin. From
mhm.
some business metrics, have you established what kind of like projects you want to be specializing in,
Yeah, for sure.
you want to be doing?
Yeah, I think over, again, we'll set a little 5-year goal. Like I'd really like to, I've said this a few times to people that within, 5 years, I'd like to probably have another crew going. So another 3 guys working and doing, you know, revenue of around $3 to $5 million, and doing 2, high-end architectural houses a year sort of thing. That'd be where I'd like to be working. Um, and then you know, building onto that by within 10 years' time, I'd like to nearly be able to step back from the business entirely and only perform in a consulting role, like, just take dividends from the company and make sure, pop in one day a week, make sure everything's running right, and that's about it. Where I've got, maybe 3 crews going. I don't have aspirations to have 20 guys and be doing, 20 or $30 million of revenue. That's not what I'm into because it's not what I'm selling either. I'm selling boutique and selling, personable. And I still want to stay true to that. That's something I really, really keen on. Particularly like where we are, there's a lot of volume builders around. So it's really hard to get people to see past those and understand the major difference between them.
Yeah,
So that's sort of what the longer term forecast goals. Like that's where I'd really like to be.
awesome. Yeah,
Mm,
fantastic. I think that, again, when we're trying to like having that vision of the business that we're trying to build helps us to make decisions on a day-to-day basis. Like for
yeah.
example, training the team on problem solving. It's like, well, whether we do it with this team or do it with the next team, to have great leaders of the company, we're going to need to invest into training of them. And, that means that we need to start doing it now, like PSR, 131,
Mhm.
other aspects, do you know what to do, how to do it, when it needs to be done by,
Mm.
delegation questions and things like that. Um, I love awesome. So you've gone through a huge amount of you know, improvement and change, challenges, who would you want to thank and give the roses to? Because, you know, most people don't get the roses when they can still smell them. So like,
Yeah, look, I
ask me.
mean, I'm not totally out of it yet. So, at the same time, yeah, I'm just a little bit hesitant to celebrate too much just yet. But look, honestly, obviously the whole TPB crew and Shane, my coach, has been incredibly patient with me.
Shane's a
But
good Shane's a good guy. He's gonna be at the summit
yeah,
as well. He doesn't just
yeah.
golf, he does gamble. He's a very good on the
Oh,
pokey.
yeah, he took poker. He plays poker.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
He's a poker club president or something like that. We've spoken about that before. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, obviously the TPB crew and and Shane, yeah, he's been really patient with me, but just the whole setup as well, like to have all of the um all of the training there to be able to see it like holistically and go, okay, this is how it's all going to work. That's how that's been a super helpful thing. And even before that, like the marketing team that I've got working with me at the moment, who turns out actually used to be a TPB member himself. His name's Brad Vizza from used to work with
Oh,
Harper
nice. Yeah,
Construction.
wow.
Yeah, so he runs a marketing agency called Grow,
Yep.
and they're in that elevated, sort of work on that elevated mindset, make like start, and that's how they work on their marketing program and stuff. So both of those guys really, and yeah, Shane and Brad, and I suppose luck. Like I've had a heap of luck, like honestly, to not go broke. I've just had been so lucky. And then to get back up on the way back up is has just been luck. I spoke to Thea this morning. I got to the week of when I nearly threw the towel in. I had $1,000 in the bank, which is like 150 grand negative because I was into the overdraft. I had to pay wages and I was like freaking out. And it was just lucky that an invoice got paid that day. So I was able to pay the wages, and then the following week the deposit got paid for this big job, and so we're on the way back up. So super lucky, but at the same time, like I couldn't have done it without the TPB training and with Shane's guidance as well.
Mm.
Mm.
I love that. I mean, well, I don't love that you're in the red, but I mean, like,
Oh no, but
you're
like
losing. It look,
every good story is always it's hard work, and
yeah,
there's luck
there
involved.
is luck, 100% there's luck, but you also make your luck, and like you
Mm.
like this is why I hate to sound like a broken record and kind of repeat a little bit of like a cliche, but like the most successful members are the biggest losers in that like they
Yeah,
have gone through the darkest times. They've got the scar
and
tissue,
that's
like go,
totally believable. It's
I can fuck
totally
this,
believable. Yeah.
bro, that's not a
Yeah.
problem.
Yeah.
Just
Relax. It's
solve
all
it.
good,
Like
Yeah.
like they say like smooth seas don't make a skilled sailor and things like that. And it's the
Yeah.
same thing with all of this, right? Like
Yeah.
you know what to avoid and what to
Yeah.
do, right?
Absolutely. That's
It's
the
less
biggest
about,
one. Yeah. Yeah.
because
Knowing what to avoid. Yeah.
and now you see contracts or you see prospects walk through the door and you're just like, no,
So yeah. Bye.
yeah. Because like you're
Pr-
not here to be the bank, you're here to be the builder, right? It is what it is. It comes
the
off.
prelim packages as well. Like that's been a massive winner for me. Like I've had 4 people sign up with a prelim package, so I'm getting paid to give them an estimate, right?
Mhm.
I had one person, it was a really good prospect. She came to me with, a $800,000 reno, wouldn't sign up to the prelim package. I just wiped me in and said, see you bye. Like it. And that was great. Like, I'm like, this is perfect. I don't want to spend 20 hours on a quote that she's not going to want and
Mm.
then be in no better position. Um, but that was a challenge as well because it was the very first one I gave out. And she said no. I was like, oh no, am I doing this all wrong?
Yeah, yeah,
But I've
yeah.
had 4 since and they've all been a success. So like that's a massive thing. Like people asked me ages ago, oh, do you charge for quotes? And I was like, no, I could never do that. And that's been a massive shift as well. Just go, well, no, I'm not charging you for a quote. I'm charging you for a service.
Exactly, right? You can't
That's
charge for quotes in a world where everyone gives free quotes, but you can charge for your professional services in a world where you are a trusted advisor, a specialist to what you do, and
Yeah.
literally need to do some work to get the project to the start line. And you're not going to do work for free. Like, you're the builder, not the bank, right?
Yep.
I'm preaching to the choir, I know. So just
Yeah.
let's
Like,
do a little quick little hit list,
sure.
like top one or two or three systems that you found most helpful from TPB. It sounds like it was the quote as an action plan.
Oh yeah, I use Build Exact, and that sort of quote document that they provide that's literally won me this $1.2 million contract. The owner said what I gave him, which was 40 odd pages with the species involved, compared to the 4 pages that the other guy offered that was cheaper. He's like, no, I'm going with that guy. Yeah, literally from that. So kudos to Build Exact, you know. But that the Wow Pack has been helpful as well. Just totally changes that a little bit. And the sales training as well has been super helpful. Like knowing obviously about the prelim package, but hitting the right sort of buzzwords and saying the right phrases when you're having the meeting with the clients. It's been really helpful for sure.
So good. Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, Hugh, I'm not going to take up any more of your time. I massively
Yeah, all good,
appreciate
man.
you sharing your knowledge, sharing your insights, sharing your lessons. Rising tide lifts all
Lessons.
boats.
Yeah,
And,
absolutely.
like, none of us are as smart as all of us. So, like,
Holy shit, that's been the massive learning point. I'm not as smart as I ever thought I was, that's for sure. Yeah.
yeah. Well, I can't wait to see your journey continue.
Thanks,
Hopefully
Alan. Appreciate
that
that, mate.
roof gets on so that we can
Yeah.
play 18.
Yeah, no, that'd be good.
Couple of other guys I'm getting together for that Saturday round. So
Yeah, nice. That'd be
so
good.
if you can get there, I'll publish an invite.
I haven't swung a club in 6 months because footy season's been on, so it'll
Oh,
be
I
tough on the
thought
first one straight into the water.
I thought we were gonna wait for the excuses until at least
No,
like
no, 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 no.
quarter
Straight
four.
away. I'm
Okay,
precursoring them.
sandbagging here. This guy is
Yeah.
like, I
All
want to
right, I'm
get
gonna have footy
the
finished last weekend, so I've got, what have I got? 4, 6 weeks. I'll have to get out of the range a few times before now and then, eh?
All right. It's
All right.
good. Good. I love it. Well, yeah, again, Hugh, thank you
Thanks
so
very
much.
much, mate.
Appreciate you, brother. And
Yeah.
all the best for the future. And I look forward to sort of seeing what you and Shane and Thea manage to craft and improve over the next 12, 18, 24, 36 months, get to that BMD.
Yeah. Yeah. I appreciate that. Thanks, Owen. Cheers.
So we'll send this off to the team for editing. I don't think there's anything in there that you would want edited out. Is
Nah.
there?
Nah.
Awesome.
No. Other
Well,
than this big ugly head, that's about it.
I don't know how many weeks in advance they are at the moment. I think it's like 2 or 3, 3 or 4.
I don't care.
Um,
Whatever.
but yeah, no, appreciate it.
Means nothing to me, man. That's all good.
Cool. Thanks, you.
All right. Thanks, Alan. Appreciate your time,
Appreciate your
mate.
time.
Ciao. Bye.